Hello, you little Pookie, little baby. Today I'm going to show you how to make a granny square. Before I jump into the tutorial, here are the skills that you need to know. You need to know how to make a slip knot, how to chain, how to slip stitch, and how to double crochet. I do have a playlist going over all of these things for you, but once you learn how to do that, come back. I'm going to teach you how to make a granny square, but I'm not babying you, okay? So get your basics down first. Let's jump into it. I'm using a 5mm crochet hook. If you're just beginning, I recommend using a size 5 or a size 6 crochet hook. And for the yarn, this is just size 4 worsted weight acrylic yarn. Let's make our slip knot. Put our slip knot on the hook. Now we're going to chain 4. Personally, I like to use a chain 3 now just because it makes the circle in the middle a little bit smaller, but we're going to chain 4 for learning purposes. Now we're going to put our hook in that first chain right next to our slip knot. We're going to yarn over, pull through that first chain, and we're going to make a slip stitch. So we're going to pull that yarn through the yarn on our hook too. So now we have this little circle. Now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we are going to double crochet into that circle, right? 1 double crochet. And 2 double crochet. So now we have a chain 3 and 2 double crochets. We're going to chain 2. 1, 2, and the chain 2 is going to be our corner stitches. So now we're going to double crochet 3 times into the circle again. 1, 2, and 3. Right, so now you see we have 2 little clusters crocheted into the circle. So we have 1 cluster, a chain 2, which is that corner, and then another cluster. We're going to make another corner, so let's chain 2. So we chain 2. Now we're going to put 3 more double crochets into that circle. 1, 2, and 3. So now we have 3 double crochet clusters crocheted into that circle. A square has 4 sides, so we need to make 4 double crochet clusters. So let's do another chain 2 for corner. And let's put 3 more double crochets into the circle. So 1, 2, and 3. So now we're going to end the row because we have our 4 little clusters, we have our little corners, so now we just need to make 1 more little corner and that's going to end the row for us. So I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to find the 3rd chain on the chain 3 that we started with, stick my hook in that chain, yarn over, and I'm going to slip stitch that closed, and there we have the first row of our granny square. Let's move on to our second row. So how we're going to start each row is by a chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. After that chain 3, we're going to put 2 double crochets into this space right here in the corner, the top right corner space. Double crochet 1, double crochet 2. So now we have our chain 3, 2 double crochets in that corner space, and you can see we're starting a new row. Traditionally, people will chain 1 and then move over to that next space. I like a tighter granny square, so I don't, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to. We're going to chain 1 and then we're going to move over to that next corner, this next space. So let's put in 3 double crochets. So since we're in a corner space, we need to make a corner. So let's do chain 2. And then we're going to put 3 more double crochets into this corner. And that's how we're going to make all of the corners for our granny square. Now that we're done with this corner, let's chain 1 and let's move on to the next space, which will be another corner. The second row is always going to be a row of corners. So we're going to put in 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. See, now we're going to chain 1. Let's move on to the next corner, and we're going to put in 3 double crochets, 2, 3, a chain 2, and then another 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So now that we've come all the way around the granny square and we're back at the start, let's chain 1. And let's put 3 double crochets into that corner. And then just like in our first row, we're going to slip stitch in the 3rd chain of that chain 3. And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's the start of a new row. Let's do one more row together and then I'll show you how to change colors. So we've done our chain 3. Now we're going to put 2 double crochets in that first immediate space where our chain 3 is. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to find that next space right over here. And since this is not a corner space, all we have to do is put 3 double crochets into this space. Chain 1. Our next space is a corner space, so we're going to put in those 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and put in 3 more double crochets because this is a corner. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. And then we're going to find another space in between the corners. So we're going to double crochet 3 times in that space. Are you seeing the pattern? Are we getting it? How are we doing? Let's check in. Let's do a chain 1 and move on to the next space, and it's a corner. So what do we do for our corner stitches? We double crochet 3 times, chain 2, and double crochet 3 times in that space. I think you can handle this on your own, and I'll meet you when I get right over here and then we can finish the row together, okay? So I just finished up this corner and I chained 1. I'm gonna make 3 double crochets right into that next space. 1, 2, and 3. Let's chain 1. And now we're going to finish this row by double crocheting 3 times in our last space. After the 3 double crochets, let's chain 1 and let's slip stitch into the 3rd chain of that chain 3. We're done with the row. I've slip stitched and now I'm going to chain 1 and cut my yarn and then pull through, give that a little tighten, and then at this point I like to just weave that end through. Let's just pick up some good habits, people. Let's weave in our ends as we go. We all gotta do it. We all have ends to weave in. It's totally fine. And if you weave in your ends as you go and you pick up good habits, you will cry less later. Okay. Okay, great. Let's change colors. So this is the corner that we finished this like teal yarn in. I'm gonna move over to a fresh corner, and that's where I'm going to fasten on a new color. I like to have a longer tail, and I'm just going to make a slip knot real fast. Slip knots just make everything a little bit more secure. So now I just insert the hook, not in any particular stitch, but in the corner space itself. And I'll pick up this little slip knot on my hook, tighten that on. Then I'll bring the slip knot through the corner space using both the tail and the working yarn. I will chain 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I like incorporating the tail into the working yarn because it makes the chain 3 a little bit thicker, so that way it has a little bit more integrity. And then yeah, you can always just chop this off, or if you want to keep using it for your 2 double crochets, that's totally cool. 1, 2. I have my chain 3, 2 double crochet. Let's chain 1 and put 3 double crochets in the next space. And you're off to the races. And I am going to crochet all along this row, and I'll meet you back right over here and we'll finish the row together. So I've just finished up in my last space and I chained 1, and so now I'm going to put 3 double crochets into the corner that I started with. 2 and 3. Chain 1, find the 3rd chain up, and we're just gonna slip stitch right into there. And you could chain 3 and keep going and make this as big as you want, or you could fasten this off now. That's how you make a granny square. I mean, the possibilities are pretty endless when it comes to granny squares. You can play around with different hook sizes and different yarn textures, different colors. I have so many granny square patterns that you guys should check out. Yeah, that's how you make a granny square. I've finally made a granny square tutorial after like 25 granny square patterns. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Oh, and make sure to like and subscribe, okay? Because I have more granny square projects coming up.